কোরাল ইনস্টলেশন আমরা যদি শিখতে পারি তাহলে এবং জানতে পারি, বুঝতে পারি, আমি আমার দেশের যে কোনো আন্ডার ওয়াটার ইকোসিস্টেমের জন্য কাজ করার সুযোগ পাবো।
আসলে কোরাল কনজারভেশনের একটা অন্যতম জায়গা, যেই জায়গাতে সারা বিশ্ব থেকেই অনেক এক্সপার্টরা এখানে এসে ট্রেনিং করে যায় যে তাদের দেশের যে কোরাল এবং মেরিন লাইফকে সুরক্ষিত করার জন্য। So I'm going to talk with Mr. Spencer. Spencer, I'm Atikur Rahman. I heard about New Haven when I get in Kurtau. Many Provine divers told me, if you want to conservation about marine life, you go New Haven. You do field work maximum time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll talk about
Yes.
conservation.
I mean, I'm really lucky myself. Again, we are the New Haven Reef Conservation Program. Again, so we're not just one person. I work as a part of a larger team. And when I first arrived here about 5 years ago now, I arrived to a program that had already been running for about 6 years. So the program had been already up and running before I came to this program. I met Chad Scott, who was the program founder, and he was largely the one who inspired me to give up my life and to dedicate it to trying to protect and preserve the marine ecosystems around the island of Koh Tao and in Thailand in general. He was sort of the inspiration in many ways that started this path for me. I'd always been interested in pursuing a career in conservation biology, but I didn't know exactly which ecosystem I wanted to put and focus all my attention on. And Chad really showed me a way of approaching these ecosystems that changed my way of thinking about them and made me think that the sort of hopeless picture that's painted for coral reef ecosystems isn't all as it appears to be. You know, it's actually an area where we can still affect things for the better. And the more effort and focus and energy that we put into these ecosystems, generally speaking, the more we're rewarded in the way of, again, bringing back these ecosystems again to a sort of a more stable and healthy state. So, yes.
What about the program? It's a part-aid program. There's you have a nice title conservation program.
Yes.
And you have a coral restoration program.
Of course.
So it's how you get the effort from the people and all over the world.
Yes, and how are we involved in so many different areas of conservation? So marine conservation, just as a word, is very broad, right? Marine conservation can mean so many different things, right? I mean, it could mean polluting less and using less single-use plastic. I mean, technically that's a form of marine conservation. So with this program, the way that it's been structured is that, again, over the more than 10 years that we've been in operation, we've slowly been building and adding different aspects to the work that we do here. So now we aren't just, again, a program that focuses entirely on surveying reef ecosystems. We're not a program that focuses just entirely on installing mooring lines. We're not, again, just a sea turtle head starting program. We're, again, a combination of different things. We're a culmination of a variety of different activities that you can engage in to again, benefit these ecosystems. So again, oftentimes, depending on what time of year it is and what's appropriate in these ecosystems, we'll do a variety of different work based on, again, where we can be most effective. So for example, if a lot of the mooring lines are getting ripped up by big boats and heavy waves, we know that next week we're going to prioritize installing these mooring lines so that boats don't have to drop anchors on our reefs. So again, if we're in cold conditions and our coral reefs are incredibly bioproductive, they're growing well and they're in a healthy state, we know to focus our energy on doing restoration work. Again, taking what coral fragments.
Very nice. I have seen also this.
Yeah.
Really, yes, very fantastic.
Yeah.
And very helpful. One thing, the marine conservation and scuba diving.
Yeah.
How important scuba diving in this subject?
In marine conservation, it's very, very difficult to preserve and to even see what's going wrong in these ecosystems without scuba. I mean, the scuba actually hasn't been around that long as we know it. You know, the modern aqualung that we use to dive with was developed
You
in
can
the
say like the
1940s.
tools of the conservation.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it is a tool of a marine conservationist. You know, if you really want to be effective as a marine conservationist, you need to have your head in the water, whether that's snorkeling or scuba diving. Scuba diving certainly does lend itself to doing this work more effectively. We're able to study these ecosystems much more in depth.
Last
and it's
question
one,
is
yes.
only for the new university related subject
Yes.
from the all over the world, and because I informed to our university student,
Right.
because on behalf of you, that is, they what is the role of the young students?
Right. So again, one of the biggest priorities of our project is to educate the next generation of marine conservationists. Right. In so many ways, again, they'll be the ones that are inheriting our planet. And of course, if we aren't passing this information along to the next generation, then the information dies with us. Again, one of the most important parts about conservation activity is that, of course, you're practicing and you're teaching as much as you're, again, engaging in the work itself. So again, by teaching and training up these students of ours that come to us to learn about marine conservation work, again, really what we're doing is we're investing in our future through them.
Yeah.
It's actually some of the most important work that we can do as a conservation community, just working with others, and again, getting other people, particularly the younger people, interested in this kind of information.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. I think it was a pleasure. It's been a pleasure having you here at the
Really
program.
appreciate it.
Not at all. Thank you so much for everything.